We're talking about foreign exchange rates, and here we have an example. This example says, Static Plus Inc. requires a 25% internal rate of return in US dollars on all projects with foreign entities. If the currency of a country A has a currency devaluation of 5% relative to the US dollar, what rate of return in that country's currency would be required for a project to be accepted? That's A. And B says, if the US has a currency devaluation of 2% relative to the foreign currency, what rate of return in a foreign currency would be required for the project to be accepted? Okay, so we have the formula, a couple of different formulas that are going to be useful. But in both, we are looking for, let's see. So because they're both in that country's currency and foreign currency, we're looking in both situations for IFM. The difference is in the first one, the foreign currency is being devalued compared to the dollar, and in the other problem in part B, it's the opposite. So the formula is IFM is equal to IUS plus FE plus FE times IUS. And this is going to be, IUS right now is 0.25. Well, that's what we want, right? 0.25 plus how the currency is being devalued, 0.05 plus 0.25 times 0.05. And this is going to be equal to approximately 31.3%. In the second case, it's the same formula, but in this case, we're going to have a negative FE. So we're going to have 0.25 plus, so this foreign currency is gaining to the dollar. So this is negative 0.02 plus 0.25 times negative 0.02, and this is equal to approximately 22.5%. So this is the rate that would be required for this project to be accepted in the foreign currency. Let's look at some other examples, or one more example at least. This is a different example. This one says a company investing on a foreign company, a company investing on a foreign company for sorry, it seems like it's missing an is. A company is investing on a foreign company for a project. Yes. The cash flow after taxes for the project in that country's currency, which is the Royale, is shown below. The company requires a 15% rate of return after taxes on any investments with foreign countries. And by the way, in case you're wondering, the Royale is a made-up currency. So 3 questions. A, should the project be accepted using dollars if the Royale devalues at a rate of 7% and if 1 US dollar is equal to 8 Royales? B, what is the internal rate of return in Royales? And C, what is the internal rate of return in dollars? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do this problem in Excel. We can do it by hand, but Excel is very useful, particularly when computing internal rates of return. So let's go over to our spreadsheet. Okay, let me make sure that it's fitting in my screen. Okay, and a little larger so you can see it properly. Okay, here we go. So we have T, we have 5 periods, because this was the information that I was given right here. Okay. Now, to compute the internal rate of return in Royales, all I need to do is do an equal IRR and select all of this data so that I can get that right now it's giving me a return of 24%. Okay. Actually, let me do this. It's actually, I think there's decimal places here. Yes. 24.03. And the present worth at that rate, and I don't know why I wrote 23.05 somewhere. Oh yes, so first let's not forget the following. We need to calculate, to earn 50% annual rate of return in US dollars, the foreign project must earn there we go, must earn 0.15 plus 0.07 plus 0.15 times 0.07. Remember, this was our IFM, and this is equal to 23.05 approximately. Sorry, I skipped that step. So this number is going to tell us something, and in this case, what is it telling us? Well, this is the number that it needs to earn that 15% rate to make it attractive. So it needs to be higher than that, and it just so happens that it is, right? So it gave me 24.03, which is greater than 23.05, so good. We also can calculate the present worth. This is an alternative way to do it. Calculate the present worth using that what we found in the previous problem, and it gives us this, and it is a positive present worth, of course. So this is higher than that, and that's what's important. But it also asks us, so the question is, should the project be accepted? And the answer so far would be yes. But we want to find this internal rate of return in Royales. Actually, we just did. And now we're going to do it in US dollars, and it should just corroborate our decision. So we know that $1 is equal to 8 Royales. That means that to calculate how many, and it's growing, it's devaluing at a rate of 7%. So each year, there's going to be more, we're going to need more Royales for every dollar. So in the first year, or at the beginning, we only needed 8 for $1. Then we need 8.6, then we need 9.2, 9.8, 10.5, etc. And I just did that with a simple, I used C2, so 8 times 1 plus 0.07 raised to the power of t. And I got this number, and with this number I was able to convert cash flow to dollars. So I don't just divide by 8 or multiply by 8, in this case divide. If I'm going between Royales and dollars, I would divide. I do that, but it's important to not use 8 for all of my calculations. This number needs to change every year. So I calculated this by dividing this number by that number, but I did it for every cell, so that my cash flow in dollars changed a lot and ended up being an internal rate of return of 15.91 in dollars. But remember that it said officially that in dollars it needed to have a rate of return higher than 15, so it is. It's barely higher, but it is. And this is my present worth. So again, all of this confirms that this is a good investment. A barely good enough to qualify, but it is. Okay? Okay, excellent. We'll stop here. Oops.